Hello and welcome. Let's get started working on the footer, but the first thing we need to do is change the layout here. You see, our header will be on every page, as well as our footer. They'll both be on every single page, so attaching them to just the page that we're on, the landing page, isn't the right way of handling it. So let's get the header off of there. I'm going to delete it and delete it from here as well. And we can save that. And now it should be gone if I go yarn start. And it is gone. It's no longer up there. Great. In order to keep the header there, the footer on the bottom, and change the information in between, we're going to use a router. We're going to use react-router DOM, so yarn add react-router-DOM. With that installed, head over to app.js, and the first thing I want to do is at the top after React, I will import, and there's a few things that we import from React Router DOM, and I'm going to show you how they show you in the documentation. So they want you to import browser router, but you do it as router for some reason. They prefer that name, so that's what we'll do. All that's saying is when you refer to router, it means browser router. That's all that says there. We'll have our switch and we'll have our route for each route that we're taking. And that all comes from React Router DOM. Since we want to have some constants over here, like we do want to have our header and our footer to be constantly on the top or on the bottom, we're going to want to open up some parentheses. But we've done this in a lot of return statements, open up some parentheses and returned more than one thing. So that's what we're going to do here. And we'll wrap everything with a fragment, which we'll bring in from React. Just wrap that with a fragment. So fragment here, and we could copy it down to the end as well. Everything else gets wrapped in our router. So here's our router. We'll wrap everything in that. And now we'll bring in our header. So let's import header from, and we'll find it, /component/header header. Perfect. So in router, we will put the header first, and it will be self-closing. Now after that, we will put in a switch. Now between our switches, we're able to put in certain routes. So what are we switching between is kind of how you want to think about these routes. So let's do our landing page first. And the order actually does matter here. And to be honest with you, doing the landing page first is a terrible idea. But we will change this up as we move on, because the landing page is our only page right now. We'll have our landing. That'll be an exact path equal to, and just /. So the landing page is equal to the domain name. And inside of there, we just return what we want to return, which will be our landing. There we go. Save that up. Let's yarn start again, see where we are. Good. That's what we want it to look like. We want it to look exactly like this right now. This is perfect. So on the bottom is where we'll be putting our footer, and all the in-between information is what we'll be changing with our React Router DOM. And I did need to bring this in now because we're going to use elements from React Router DOM, links, in order to do the links on the bottom footer. So we needed to install this now. Let's head into components, make a folder called footer, and then a file in there called footer.js. And here we'll get to work. Let's import React from React. Let's import our logo. We're going to need that here. So import logo from, and that's in the images. So up to imgs to logo. And let's also import something from React Router DOM. It's called link. From React Router DOM. Perfect. Now we'll have a const called footer. It'll be a fat arrow function like so. Inside of there, we'll have a return, and after it, we will export default footer. All right, so we have that pretty set up now, and we can get working on it. Let's look at the footer we're emulating here, right on the bottom. It has a line on the top of it. We have these join, teach, contact, and about. We have a logo and a copyright. That's everything that we're going to make. So let's get started. In the return, we will separate this into a few different things. First, we'll have the actual div for the footer. So div class name will equal footer. Inside of there, we'll have a div with a class name equal to that footer underscore underscore page dash break. Now the page break is this right here. That's that line. So we're going to make that first. And that can self-close. Nothing will go inside of that page break there. Now we'll have the footer top. So let's make the div class name equal to footer underscore underscore top. Inside of there is where we'll do our link elements. So this is what we brought in from React Router DOM. We'll have a link, and they're all going to get the same class name. So all the links will be footer top link. But make sure you do the underscore underscore top dash dash link. And now you just need a 2. So this is no href2, it's just 2 here, and it'll be /auth. And inside of there, we'll write the word join. So we're set up with our first link. It's going to a page called auth, which doesn't exist. We are going to make it to make sure that we implemented this all right. So just quickly go to pages, make a new page called auth.js, import react from react const auth, and that'll be your fat arrow function there. It will return a div that says auth page, and then we'll just export it default. Great. And now we have to bring that into our app, and we're going to do this over and over again to get used to React Router DOM. This is just the first time. So if you're losing track of things, that's just fine. We'll do this several times. So we're going to make another route here in the switch. I'm going to put the route over the landing page above it. And it's not going to be the landing, it's going to be the auth page now. So import auth from, and then we have to find it. It's just /pages and then auth. Cool, we got that now. Now where it says this, let's say auth, we'll name that. And instead of this, it will be auth. Great. Now in our footer, we are set up to go to that auth right there. I'm going to do a few more links that go nowhere just so it looks nice when we make this, but we will eventually link them up to somewhere. So let's do a few more links and they will go nowhere now. So just one more to start with, and the 2 will just be the pound sign. Just do that pound, there you are, the hashtag. And we'll do a few more. So this will be teach, and then copy it 2 more times for contact and about. Contact, about. So we handled our footer top now. So after that, we're going to need to do our bottom footer, and I called it footer lowest. Class name equals footer underscore underscore lowest. So this is going to be on the bottom no matter what. Even if our footer gets larger, this is what we want on the bottom of the footer. And what's going to go there is an img for our image. Now our image is going to be the same one we've been using, that logo, and we did import it, so it should be pretty simple for us. First we'll make the class name. The class name will equal footer lowest logo. That'll be the first one. Footer underscore underscore lowest dash dash logo. We need an src, and that's a simple one. Just make it logo because we already imported it. And we also need an alt attribute, and that attribute will just be lower footer logo. And we can close that up. Make it a self-closing. That image doesn't need anything else inside of it. And then finally one more div, and it's going to be the actual copyright that we put in here. Div class name will equal footer lowest -- copyright. Inside of there, for the first time, we're going to use an HTML element that actually makes a copyright on the screen. So check this out. Just use the N key, then you use the pound key or the hash key, and then 169 will give you your copyright sign there. And I'm going to have copyright Anthony papa-santo, and that's my name. And please go ahead, feel free to use anything on this site, on your sites, anything you learned here is your knowledge, and go ahead and put it to good use. Please tell your friends, like and share the videos. That's what helps me out, and I appreciate that. So let's get this massively ugly footer on the page right now, because nothing is styled, but let's get it onto the page. So we will go to our app and import it. Let's import footer from, and we just got to find it, /pages, oh no, it's components /footer/footer. And what we want to do with that is put it inside the router, but after all the switch statements. So there is our footer, and it self-closes. Now it should be on our page. And it is. Here we are, join, teach, contact, about, and our logo is at the bottom, looking pretty bad. And here's our copyright. So that's that copyright element that we made in the corner there. That C came right from HTML with that code that we typed in. So let's get this looking like this one here. Nice and across. We'll have to make a new SCSS file and get started on it. So in SCSS, let's make a new file called auth.scss. Make sure to underscore before it, auth.scss, and inside of here we'll get all of our footer elements. What do we start with? Footer. Okay, so .footer, we could open that up. I'm just going to save this and import over here at import the variables. Good, that's set up. Make sure you put a semicolon. It is not forgiving. And then go to our main, and we need to import our footer. So at import, and then just find /footer. Oh geez, I called it auth. That's an accident. Let me rename that. That'll be in a few lessons, but so far, footer. Okay, that's why it wasn't coming up. Back to main. /. There's our footer. Cool. Now that's set up. I'm going to run the yarn run SCSS so we can get things moving, and then we can save it up. Good. Back to our footer, and let's get to work. All right, so we're just going to define the regular size of everything. It'll be a position of relative. We'll have a width of 100 viewport width. That's important. Use viewport width. Have a height of 16 rem. That's pretty big, but it's okay to have a pretty big footer. Have the overflow be hidden, and the background color to be the color white. Finally, make the Z index larger than everything but a button. So I'm going to put 999, and we'll save that. Let's take a look at what we're working with now. Very good, very good. Now we're at least taking up the amount of space we want. Of course, the photo is gone for right now, but we will bring that right back in a moment. So the next thing I want to do is the page break. So let's write end __page -break. And that's just going to be like any other underline we did. We're going to give it a border bottom and then a width. So border bottom, that will be 2 pixel solid RGBA, and in there will be dash color. We'll use that gray dark we just made so it's in more than one spot, and 0.3 on that. And we could save that and make sure we have a width that is 100 viewport width, VW. All right, now we have our line just like we want it. Let's work on the top container. So we'll say end underscore underscore top. And inside of there, we'll have a display of grid, a grid template columns. And this is a tricky one. Okay, so just follow along with me first, and we'll really explain this as we go through it. Write the word repeat. And then inside of here, write auto-fit. So we're letting the computer decide what fits and what doesn't. And this is what we're giving it to make that decision, a min-max. So inside of this min-max, we're first going to define the smallest amount that you'll allow before it needs to go to another line. So if an element shrinks, if it shrinks to a certain amount, it's going to be pushed to another line of our grid display. And the amount I want is 10 rem. Anything under 10 rem, just push it to the next line. And then comma to 1 fr. Take up as much space as is there, but once you hit 10 rem, push to the next line. That's what's being said right here. And it's going to be really hard to see the way it is. Actually, no, it won't. We separated pretty nicely. Check this out. When we get small enough, when we get small enough, there we go. You can see that this is pushing now to the next line. That's exactly what we're looking for with what we did there. It's auto resizing pretty much. Really cool feature of display grid. You'll use that a lot. Maybe make a note on this video or just copy this all down somewhere so you could go back to it. The next thing we'll do is the links inside of the top. So inside of top, end underscore, dash dash link. Everything here should be dash dash. We'll have a font size. That will be 1.8 rem, a little bigger than everything else, and the font weight will definitely be pretty bold. We'll give it the full 800 here. Text decoration. You need to set these, and that's because of these underlines. I don't like that at all. So text decoration will be none. Save that, and oh good, it's gone now. Next we will do the color. Let's color them blue. So color will be our color blue light. And we'll have a margin in between all of them. I want to make sure they have a little space in between even when they get super tight. And I want to make sure they have space up and down as well. Well, at least up. So let's do margin, and we're going to go around now. So we start with north. We start with just the up one, 2 rem, and we go around to the right. So margin right, I want 2 rem. Margin bottom, I don't want anything there. That's fine the way it is. And finally, 2 rem for the margin left. Let's save that up and take a look at our links. They really are looking good now, and you can see this one's off the wall a little bit because of that 2 rem. But we can make it look a lot better just by centering the text. So text align, center. There we go. That's looking perfect right now. Let's get out of this and see. Yes, we do have the pointer on all of these links. That's natural for them, so we don't have to do anything. Let's check our join link real quick. And yeah, we do. We go to the auth page. That's great. And we could go back by, I guess, pressing back's the only way. Cool. And so that is working, and there doesn't seem to be, and with React Router DOM, there doesn't seem to be any change of color or anything due to it being visited, as you might get with an A tag in normal HTML. So we're not going to try to change any of the visited properties because we shouldn't need to, but we do need to have some sort of fun hover going on here. So let's do an end hover, and what I'd like to do is a darker blue. So on hover, we're going to change the color, and the color will be a darker blue. So color dash blue dash dark, and we don't have one yet, so save this and watch it break. Go back into your variables and let's make a color blue dark. I have one picked out, so right here under the blue light, I'll make a color blue dark. And that will be a hash, and the hash will read 001A49. And there's our really dark blue there. Save that up now, and now when we go over them, yeah, they change to a very dark blue, and I think that looks pretty good. They change really fast. I think we should probably transition these two, so let's do that. In footer, in our link, transition, we could do all 0.4 seconds. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I like the way that's looking. Now we need to just finish it up with our copyright on the bottom of the page along with our logo. So we're in footer again, and on the bottom after everything, where top is basically, we also have the lowest. So we'll say end underscore underscore lowest. Inside of there, we need to do a display of flex. Let's take a look. Okay, now we have our copyright back. We'll do a width of the same, just the 100 viewport width. Now we will justify content to space between and align items to center. Okay, great. Now we are spaced between, so our image is somewhere over here, and we will take a look at it in just a moment. We're going to give it a height of 10 rem. That looks good. We got a little separation here. And now we're going to work on the actual logo. So in lowest, right, end dash dash logo, and add in the width of 20%. There we are. We have our logo on the bottom now. Let's work on our copyright. And dash dash copyright font size. That will be 1.4 rem. Font weight. That will be 800. And then finally, we need to get off of the sidewall a little bit. So margin, I should say margin right, shouldn't I? Margin right will be 4 rem. Save that up. And we have it. This looks absolutely great. We have our logo on the left, the copyright on the right, and we can even go to the join page. Now, what you'll see here is our footer isn't really attached to the bottom of anything. It can go right up to the top if it wants to. So we're going to make an element that sits in the middle. It's going to be a container for all of our elements that sit in the middle. All you need to do is give it a min height that actually forces the footer to the bottom of the page, and the footer will always sit on the bottom of the page at least. And then if there's more data in there, it will go even further down like we had here, where the footer's not even viewable here, but there it is when we go further down. It's the beauty of min height. So let's work on that right now. So here's how this will work. We'll go into app.js. Under your header, you're going to make a new div. It'll have a class name, and that class name will be page-container. This is going to wrap everything down to the footer. So everything is wrapped in this page container element. And inside of reset, we will make this page container. So page-container. Oh, I didn't write the dots. Dot page container. And inside of here, let's do all of our work. And the work in here is pretty quick. We'll have a display of flex, a flex direction of column. And then finally, we need a min height. Now, the min height is 100. Let me actually write it out first and then explain it. So we will calc. This is a pretty cool feature. Use calc, then 100 VH for viewport height minus however many rem your header and your footer is added together. And I'm pretty sure that is 23 rem. If it doesn't look good, we'll look it up. But no, that looks great. Now our auth page, even though there's nothing on the page, has our header and it pushes all the way down through our footer here. Our footer is scrollable. I don't like that at all. So let's fix that. We won't let any overflow happen inside of our footer. Let's go back to footer and change that. So where it says lowest over here, we will change our overflow Y to hidden. There we go. Now we're looking good. It looks great. I think we gave it too much room. I think we gave it like 10 rem, and that's a bit much. So maybe later on we'll fix it up a little more, but this looks fine for right now and really is looking good. And nothing changed here. It's still on the bottom of the page due to us saying min height. So the minimum height is an entire page. After that, it could be as big as it wants. Well, this was a really good one. We are set up to go to different pages. You made it through a really cool lesson. You learned a little bit about actually navigating in React, and our bottom footer looks pretty nice, if I can say so myself. So great job, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. We have a lot of really cool stuff ahead of us, and I'll see you there.